So we're here with Pachanga star midfielder Anto Gonzalez
We
to
haven't
discuss
played a single game yet for Pachanga.
future star midfielder for Pachanga. To discuss Pachanga in the UFL League, to discuss your team. So the first question really is, you've moved from Loyola, one of the best teams in the division, to a newly promoted side. Some people might not know the history involved with you and Dillerman particularly, so could you enumerate on that? Could you let us know why you decided to move to Pachanga?
So before I played for Meralco, I was playing for Diliman. That was in the UFL Cup last year, or 2 years ago. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, we didn't get through to the semifinals. So Diliman was relegated to the second division. And at that time, there was a good opportunity to move to Meralco and play at the highest level, and also a good opportunity for me to play again for the national team. So that was the reason why I moved to Meralco. And then now Pachanga Diliman. Pachanga was the team who topped the second division last year, so they moved up to the first division. But Diliman bought Pachanga, so thus Pachanga Diliman. And then, so technically I was loaned by Diliman to Meralco. Actually, that should have been just for one competition, but it extended to another. So after the past UFL Cup, the management of Pachanga Diliman wanted me to go back. So since that's my mother club, most of the players there were my former teammates and players. The coach there was my coach for 10 to 15 years. So my heart was kind of leaning towards going back. It was a very difficult decision because I really had a great time with Meralco. They really offered a lot of, or they gave a lot of opportunities to me, opened up a lot of doors. But yeah, this is one thing that I just had to do for my mother club.
Yeah, you say had to do. You've got a great opportunity, obviously, with Meralco in terms of the national team. As you said, it gave you those opportunities on a bigger stage. But it's always seemed that you've had more importance for developing things for your grassroots, as you say, your mother club. As coach of UP Diliman for a long time, you've really put your heart and soul, it seems, into there. And so, do you see it as like a project like that, or do you see like you owe them that time to go back to them, to go back to a team that's newly promoted now into the first division?
Yeah, it's both. When I talked with the management of Pachanga Diliman, it was brought up on the table. Like they wanted some of the college players to be brought up to the second division team. So I think, and they wanted like a joint training session. So that was also one factor that persuaded me to go back. And then another thing was their objective to put up grassroots football and attach it to the club. So that's also one very good thing that attracted me to go.
How will they do that with the grassroots?
The coach of Pachanga Diliman is attached to a grade school and high school football program, so it won't be difficult to get players on the grassroots level and just train them like even during the weekends, and then invite some more players from the other schools. So it won't be very difficult to start.
You know, if you're looking for some kids from an underprivileged area who've got the heart and everything,
definitely.
then bring in Pirates FC. But to go back to Pachanga and to go back to the team, to talk about the team more generally, you've obviously put a lot of effort into it for yourself, and that's very admirable. As if it's your own, something you've built up over a long time. Looking at the team, what are you excited about? They're a newly promoted side, but really Pachanga aren't looking over their shoulders for relegation. This is a season that they think they can maybe get mid-table, just to assert themselves first before pushing on from there. So what are you excited about for Pachanga and for the UFL League?
First and foremost, I really look forward to playing alongside Jason Cunliffe, who's a fantastic player. He's the team captain of Guam. Fantastic player. Of course, I would love to be reunited with my former teammates and former players. So it's pretty an emotional thing for me. And then I think we have a very good crop of players. Yeah, again, with the departure of Freddy to Meralco, I think one thing that one position that we're lacking is the forward position. But since the club doesn't have a lot of money, so we really have to work around that disadvantage and maybe just train hard, focus on building up our front line.
Yeah, for those who want to, you can check out Jason playing for Guam during the Peace Cup and in the friendlies before then. He's a player who could have a really good future and sometimes plays up top. Would he be someone that Pachanga would consider putting as a striker?
I have actually suggested that to the coaching staff. I just don't know if they'll be open to it.
So that's the same wavelength we have now. We're getting so intimate together. I'm kidding. Please go ahead.
So there. Yeah. If no one steps up, for that position, then I would really like to try him out. But he can play everywhere.
And if you could make some predictions, then where do you think Pachanga should finish? I mean, I mentioned before that really they're a team who shouldn't be looking over their shoulders at relegation, even though they've just been promoted. As a newly promoted side, can they do what the Stallion did last season and challenge, but eventually finishing a solid fourth? What position would you be happy with Pachanga?
I think a top 4 finish would be very good for us. For this first season, it would be very good for us.
Top 4. So who would you think would you'd be able to overtake there out of the traditional, I guess, UFL top 4? We've got Global, Kaya, Stallion, and Global, Kaya, Stallion, Meralco.
They told me that Archers would be.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously you'd be looking to finish ahead of the Archers.
We can be competitive against Kaya and Archers.
Kaya and Archers, okay. So you'll knock Kaya out of the top 4. Well, if you want, we could also make another official bet on that. If you finish in the top 4, I'll shave every hair off my body. If Pachanga don't finish in the top 4, then you have to shave every
how
hair.
Are we gonna prove to the viewers that we actually shaved our bodies?
Well, we'll be able to see most of that. The rest we can take on word, I think. Unless you'd like to put in any clauses, but then we could do a contract with it. We'll put some clauses in there for extra show and tell, getting extra intimate with Roy and Anto. An X-rated version of FTW, more like WTF.
That won't be X-rated yet. Maybe an R rating or something.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us, as always. And we're going to wrap up there for Pachanga in the UFL League. A team who really, it should be a really good season and bring out a new competitive side to the UFL. With the traditional top 4, you've got Archers and Pachanga really pushing up now. Pasargad are going to look up there. Nomad's wanting to revamp and improve. It's going to be a very, very tight division. So for all the updates, to find out more about that, and for everything on Coach Anto, with or without her, you can follow us at FTW Sports.